Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Tomorrow, guys, we're one sleep away from a fight which has been talked about for a decade. We're one sleep away. My heart is racing. I'm nervous. You guys know where my patriotism lies here. This is I've never felt like this for any sporting event, and it's crazy to say it's two old men, two washed up old men fighting. It's two guys that are past their prime, two guys that are way past their best. I'm so nervous. I'm literally so nervous. Like, I can't explain to you. Like, the feeling is surreal. Oh man, this is gonna be good, man. Let's talk about the weigh-in. Both fighters weighed in. Amir Khan weighed in at 147.3 pounds. Kell Brook weighed in 148.3 pounds. All the stuff about Kell Brook not being able to make weight, Kell Brook struggling, he can't make weight, and he made it easy. Easy work, light work. Everyone was saying Kell's not gonna make weight, and he made it easy. Now, Kell looked fantastic, like he looked more ripped than Amir, but I was expecting that. Brook always looks ripped. He always looks lean. He always looks good, you know. So seeing Brook on the scales, like he's always looked like that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not surprised that Brook, like in terms of aesthetically, Brook looked better. I will say this though, Amir's never looked that good in his fights of last couple of years. You know, even against Crawford, he looked okay. I didn't think he looked pretty good. I don't think he looked that good. I think here he looked pretty aesthetically good for what I'm used to seeing. I think the best I've seen him is probably for the Alexander fight. He was really ripped, and this is kind of close to that. But again, body don't win fights. Like if you're going off the body, then Kell Brook wins this fight, no doubt about it. But again, when I see David Haye and Tony Bellew, look, David Haye looked $1 million, but when it came to the fight, you know, he got blown away. I honestly don't know how it's gonna go. It's difficult for me. It's difficult for me to pick this fight. Putting all my biases to one side, you know, I know who I want to win. I'm obviously biased in that sense, but I don't know who's gonna win. I'm clueless. Logic favors Brook, you know. Logic favors Brook. He's bigger, he's stronger. You know, he's got, over the years he's had the better punch resistance. Amir's speed and his attributes are going to diminish quicker than what Brook's attributes are going to diminish. I don't know. It's going to come down to Kell Brook's punch resistance. Can he take a shot? You know, if Amir hits him, is it going to have an effect on him? You know, I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough for both guys. Look, you never know. We may even get a conclusive early stoppage for either guy right away. You know, this is a very interesting fight. One that, you know, I don't think anyone can call. But in terms of how they looked, I think, yeah, like I said, they both look good. I don't know. See, with Brook, he made the weight, but I don't know how how's he gonna rehydrate. Look, he didn't even look to me like his face looked perfectly fine. I don't think he was struggling at all. He looked like he didn't look. I've seen him worse, you know. So the extra 2 pounds that he had has helped him. Personally, I think Amir should have made the fight at 147. I think to drain him down. This is what I'm saying. I think people don't understand is that Amir is so much smaller than Kell Brook. He actually gave him an advantage by doing those 2 extra pounds. You know, so people are like, oh, Brook is drained. I don't think he is, because Brook's always made weight. He's never not made weight, right? So he was 148 pounds. So he's one and a bit pounds. He's fought Terence Crawford in November and he made the weight. So what makes you think that, you know, he's going to struggle to make 149 pounds? Like, I just think that all of this media stuff was just all biased against Amir Khan, in the sense that, oh, well, Brook's going to struggle to make weight. Amir's draining him. And look, Brook didn't look that drained. He didn't look that bad. I've seen him look much worse than that. You know, if you look at the Crawford fight, right? And you look at Brook's face. Brook looked a mess. Like in terms of how his face was sucked in. Here he does look dry. I'm not gonna say he looks really good, like, but he does look dry. He does look like he's gone a little bit. You know what I mean? But that's not like that's just where he is. Brook's a big guy. But I think the most important thing is that when I saw Brook yesterday at the press conference, he looked pretty tired. Like you could tell that he was quite. Amir Khan looked normal. When I look at his face, he didn't look like struggling at all. Whereas you could tell from Brook's face that he definitely looked a bit tired. He looked at like it's hard for him, man. It is hard. You can tell from it looking at him. It's hard for him, but I think he made it pretty well. I think he made it pretty well, to be honest. He was on focus. I think it's now just going to come down to what either guy has left. It just comes down to what they have left, to be brutally honest. And I don't know. I don't know what either guy has left. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in this fight. I want to see how quick Amir Khan is. I want to see how Amir takes Kell's power. When Kell lands, like, is Amir going to be able to take Kell's power? Is it going to be a case as soon as Kell hits him, he's going to get hurt? Or is it going to be a case where Amir is actually going to shock us and actually be able to take what Brook's giving out and actually be able to hurt Kell Brook? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm really interested to see how quick Amir looks as well. Is he going to look really quick? I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It really is. It's honestly, it's a tough one. And you know what? A lot of people are talking about money. This isn't about money. Forget the money. Forget what Brook's making. Forget what Khan's making. This isn't about money. This is like, a rivalry that's been going on. This is a massive rivalry that's been going on for a very long time. And it's one where if you're a Brook fan, you know what it means to Brook, and if you're a Khan fan, you know what it means to Khan. They both have to win. They both have to win. I think from a legacy point of view, I think Brook needs it more because Brook really hasn't had a lot of marquee wins. So if he beats Amir Khan, he can say, well, I beat Amir Khan. So that adds to his resume. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if Amir Khan beats Kell Brook, it's just another name on his resume. But then at the same time, if Amir Khan loses to Kell Brook, all the haters will come out and say that Brook did this, Brook was better and stuff. So it means a lot to both guys in that sense. Even though I don't really think you can judge a fight, when both guys are 35, and because Amir's prime is not there and Kell's prime is not really there. So for me, logic favors Brook in this fight. But logic is not how logic doesn't always come to fruition. Do you see what I mean? It's like I was one of the believers that I felt Amir would have been a favorite, and he would have been the bookies' favorite back. And a lot of people are saying surprised that why is Kell been made favorite. I think the bookies are right. Kell is a favorite for me. I think the fact that Brook has been made the favorite, I think the bookies have rightfully made the favorite, because when you look at it logically, I've said this a couple of times, Amir Khan's speed and foot speed are not going to be there. How Amir Khan used to win at top level is box in and out, and he had great stamina, stamina and fitness, so he was able to make 12 rounds and generally outpoint guys. But Kell Brook, Amir Khan's probably not going to be able to do that in this fight for 12 rounds. It's unlikely he's going to be able to go 12 rounds. Maybe he might shock us, but I don't think Amir Khan's going to be able to go 12 rounds. So I think he's going to have to knock Brook out. I think what makes this fight interesting, in their primes, it would have been whether Kell could have caught him and whether Amir would just outbox him and win a decision. Now, could Kell Brook outbox Amir Khan? He wouldn't have done it in his prime. There's no way Kell Brook could outbox Amir Khan. Nobody can. It's very hard. You'd have to be like a Floyd Mayweather or someone of that level. Even then, I won't put, Khan was outboxing everybody. Look at what he did to Devin Alexander, and look at what he did to Collazo, Zab Judah, Malignaggi. He'd beat anyone when it comes to volume and outwork them. He'd outwork them all day long. It was just whether Kell could catch him and put him out. Now, now I think the dynamics have changed because Amir looked not very good against Crawford. And Kell is, for me, out of the two, Khan for me is more naturally gifted. Do you know what I mean? I think Khan's got attributes which are elite, like the hand speed, foot speed, the fitness. Kell Brook for me is a very good all-round boxer. So Kell, at this stage in their career, is probably going to be better placed to win the fight because of the fact that when you look at it from a fundamental point of view, he's probably the more fundamentally sound. It's a bit like Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins was probably the more fundamentally sound fighter, hence why he was to go on longer. Like, I'm not comparing these two to Bernard or Roy. And Roy was more naturally gifted. But Roy wasn't able, as he got older, Roy really wasn't able to adapt his style. Hence why he ended up getting knocked out, getting beat, because of the fact that he really wasn't really able to adapt his style later on because those natural gifts started to diminish. And I think that is kind of like Amir and Kell's situation, where Kell's probably a very fundamentally sound, solid boxer, whereas Khan's the more naturally gifted out of the two, in my opinion. However, those attributes that he's got are probably diminished. So that's why I say logic favors Brook. And Brook is the bigger guy. He's the bigger puncher. You know, in his prime, he had a better chin. So logic definitely favors Brook here. But again, like I said, there's a lot of intangibles to this fight. The eyes, the punch resistance of Brook. You know, before where people thought that Khan couldn't knock Brook out, maybe now that he can. So these are all things that have kind of made it interesting, and we just don't know. I don't know. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens. But yeah, good luck to both guys. You know, I hope Khan pulls it off, but I'm not confident, to be honest with you. I'm not confident. You know, if you ask me from a logic point of sense, I actually say Brook's got the upper hand here, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see. Either way, I think the bookies have got it right. By the way, I think Kell Brook should be a slight favorite. I think it's like 30-1 or something. Amir's 40-1 and Kell's 30-1, something like that. But yeah, I think he's a slight favorite. You know, slight favorite, but it's not massive. It's like, you know, it's anyone's fight, but they've put Brook as a slight. I think it's a slight favorite. You know, but yeah, 60-40 kind of thing. But I'd have to agree with that. I think at this point where they're at, when you analyze the skill set and what they were good at, you know, and you analyze, you know, the age, who's going to be affected more, I think, you know, definitely the fact that Amir's not also fought for 3 years, you know, I definitely think that Brook is, you know, if Brook can't beat Khan now, then, you know, I actually think it favors him. But people making too much about this weight and rehydration, that only affects people when it's a tough fight. You know, like, this may not be a tough fight either way. Whoever wins, this might not be that tough. You know, and also Amir doesn't really have the physical strength or the size to be able to push Kell Brook and bully him like that. Well, Spence was. So I think people are making too much of the rehydration, the weight. Amir, you got to look at who's fighting. Amir Khan is not Errol Spence, where he's physically that strong. He's able to push Kell Brook. He's not a huge puncher, you know, like that. So for me, you know, logic definitely favors Brook. But like I said, logic doesn't always come to fruition. And Amir Khan, I've always said, he's a very, very special individual. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he puts in a stellar performance tomorrow, you know, because he's a very strange individual, you know, very strange. Like, sometimes you know, he's capable of doing great things. He is capable, you know, but at times, you know, he switches off, you know, and he gets caught. But I do think Amir Khan is at times can be very special. So let's see tomorrow what happens. But leave your thoughts, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.